Mustang, Camaro, Challenger. These are the cars that defined an era, and now they're back racing better and faster than ever. And what better place to test them than the city where they're made?
We'll see what happens. It's always interesting around the concrete jungles of Detroit.
This is Trans Am 2, the battle of the American muscle cars from the Motor City.
It's going to be a heck of a race as usual.
Welcome to Belle Isle in Detroit, Michigan. Coverage of Trans Am presented by Pirelli. Trans Am, America's road racing series. Today it's the three-dimensional services group TA2 Muscle Car Challenge, powered by AEM Infinity. Hello again, everyone. I'm Rick Benjamin. Glad to have you with us today here in Detroit. NASCAR star Michael McDowell will join us for the call in a couple of moments. Ashley Van Dyke with our coverage today down on pit road. Should have a terrific battle here on Belle Isle. Very tight race course. All concrete. Part of it resurfaced recently. It's rough and hard to pass here. It'll be a challenging layout for the TA2 stars. We've got a host of past champions in our show today. Gar Robinson, two-time title holder Cameron Lawrence, and last year's champion Tony Buffamante. But the points leader right now is a young gun from the northeastern United States. He's standing by with Ashley.
Dylan McIvern, you won Sebring, you had second at Homestead, and you had third at Road Atlanta. How do you plan to ascend back up the podium?
Well, I think we're going to be in good shape for the race. We had some difficulty in qualifying with a blown left rear shock, which really didn't help us, especially with the one quick lap that we had. It actually probably helped us, or else we would have fallen farther back. But the micro crew did a great job getting the car back together. Look for the Heritage Motorsports number 24 car that'd be rolling to the front here at Detroit.
Dylan will be starting 8th, but he is leading the championship standings, and he'll be looking to gain points this weekend here in Detroit.
This is a tough field of race cars, Michael McDowell. Glad to have you with us here today. Getting set to go racing in Detroit. Let's take a look at the Trigon Trophy standings after 3 events. McIvern, Robinson, and Shane Lewis all pretty much, well, just less than 10 points apart.
And we're used to seeing this very tight competition, but Dylan McIvern's having a standout year. Let's see if he can keep it rolling.
One of the best stories of the year, Cameron Lawrence back full-time at TA2. He's a two-time title holder with a different team now, but he's about 29 points out of the lead. Ashley Van Dyke will have our coverage on pit road. Field is away, and Gar Robinson in that brand new 74 Ranch Resort Chevrolet starting up front here today. The rest of the field's going to have their work cut out for them.
Very difficult place to pass at Belle Isle. Very tight, twisty, bumpy. You have to be aggressive. You have to be assertive. And when you put your nose in, you got to get all the way alongside a car. It's hard to pass, but it can be done.
On board with Gar, who will lead the field to green behind the safety car here. Starting order, top of your screen. Keep your eyes on that 87 car. That is Doug Peterson's TA2 car, but veteran Rafael Matos, who's got a ton of experience in race victories, will drive that car today. Defending champ Tony Buffamante lines up second.
Rafa Matos and I have had battles in the Star Mazda series. He's a veteran IndyCar driver, sports car driver. He's got a lot of experience. He's starting deep in the field, but I bet we see him towards the front.
Onboard looks as well today from Shane Lewis's machine, Gar Robinson's teammate. He'll start back at 6th. There's Matos in the three-dimensional services group 87. I asked him before the race because I was familiar with him from IndyCar and Champ Car, Atlantics and everything. I said, have you ever run stock cars, GT cars? I said, oh yeah, got a lot. Remember, I won the Rolex 24 in the GT category a couple of years ago, so he can get the job done. Here's your two-time champ in that Chevrolet, Cameron Lawrence. That Class Auto team kind of trying to find their footing here early in the season.
And Cameron's no stranger to the victory lane. He's been there several times in the TA2 category, but a new team, some new beginnings for him.
And there's your points leader, Dylan McIvern out of Vermont, the Heritage Motorsports, Mike Cope, Mustang, the 24. Belle Isle, there it is right in the center of the Detroit River. This is about a 2.34 mile circuit, 13 turns, Michael, very tight.
tight, twisty, but you do have some long straightaways, some heavy braking. You got to make those passes, and you got to do it with authority.
What we've seen so far this weekend, the turn 1 and 2 complex, quick right, back to the left, and you're kind of over a bridge there. That's very tough.
Very tight, very twisty. If you get side by side, the cars are sliding around. It can be very treacherous.
Gar Robinson on pole in the 74. Alongside him, defending series champ Tony Buffamati in that Mustang, the 34. Green flag in the air. Glad to have you with us at Belle Isle. We're underway. Buffamati on the outside. He's got the preferred line into 2, and he takes the lead. Trouble right away, though. One car is around at the back of the field. That's Matt Parent in the Venture Contracting 14. That's one of the Mike Cope Fords. Parent, a veteran from the Pacific Northwest in vintage racing. Let's watch what happens as we go green here.
Well, they're side by side racing hard. 3 wide isn't going to work going into turn 1. Contact was made. Luckily, doesn't look like too much damage. He should be able to join the tail of the field.
I think Parent thought he could get a run there on Rafa Matos. Might have hooked that right front over the curbing. Meantime, Buffamati in front of Gar Robinson. Third spot, Cameron Lawrence. They are bunched up tight here.
How about Buffamani's start being aggressive, rolling the outside, getting ahead of Gar Robinson, your pole sitter. Tony Buffamani showing his muscle.
Lawrence Loshak in 4th, the 44 of Adam Andretti in 5th, the veteran Shane Lewis 6th, challenging for the lead. Robinson probably knows he needs to get by Buffamani as quickly as he can. For 4th spot, Andretti on the move.
Now these onboards are so much fun. You can hear the engines, his tires are spinning. He's putting the pressure on Cameron Lawrence, but it's early in the race. You're on a street course. A lot can happen. What you want to do is you just want to keep the pressure on, looking in the mirrors, looking left, looking right. Maybe get that guy to make a mistake getting into the brake zone so you can capitalize on it.
Adam Andretti picks up a spot already. His hopes plenty high coming in here to Belle Isle this weekend. We talked to him before the start, and he said that was kind of a trouble-filled couple of sessions. He didn't get the qualifying position he wanted.
First practice, we were P1 overall, faster than TA cars and everything, so we were really feeling good about the weekend. Roll out for the second practice, and some gravel came up and snuck on us that we picked up from Road Atlanta, and that got caught up in the shift linkage, so I couldn't get into first, second gear. So that ruined our practice session too. And we get out there for qualifying, and unfortunately we immediately come into red on qualifying, so we only got 1 lap in, and that was kind of like a warm-up lap, getting some pressures up in the tires. So I think Gar Robinson laid one down. He was the only one that got to lay one down, and the rest of us were kind of stuck with what we got.
Adam sitting 4th, Michael McDowell, a lot of scrambling right behind him here. I don't think Adam Andretti's in a bad position at all at this point.
No, it's still early in this race. He's had a lot of speed. We saw him very quick here last year as well. And Adam Andretti's a guy that I always like watching. He's entertaining. He's always going for it. He's aggressive. But with experience over the years, we see him making less and less mistakes, and this might be the year for him.
Shane Lewis, meantime, in the 72 car, nearly got by Lawrence Loshak a few turns ago. You saw Loshak come off one of the corners, turn 2, and really break loose. Almost touched the wall with the right rear fender of that car. Adam Andretti, meantime, charging, trying to find a way around Cameron Lawrence in the red 19 car as they'll fight it out for 3rd. Buffamati's still your leader.
Buffamati's done a great job controlling this race. Got around Gar very early at the start, and he leads the field.
Buffamati, Robinson, and Lawrence on the podium early in the going in the 3-Dimensional Services Muscle Car Challenge.
Trans Am on CBS Sports Network is sponsored by 3-Dimensional Services Group. Prototype, production, proven. By GoShare, your friend with a truck. And by Pirelli. Power is nothing without control.
Chicagoland's Tony Buffamati, the defending champion in Trans Am 2. Welcome back to Belle Isle. I'm Rick Benjamin, Michael McDowell alongside Ashley Van Dyke on pit road. That 34 car from the Mike Cope Racing Stables. Quick all weekend long, qualifying on pole. Gar Robinson, though, knows he may have a faster race car.
And Tony Buffamati's not making it easy for Gar. He's running the defensive line, which that is his job as the leader, to keep that lead. And Gar's going to have to find a different way to get around him.
Kind of a home game for Gar Robinson, the 74 Ranch Resort Bunch, George Robinson's race team out of Texas. But Gar's got a home now in the Detroit area, the team based here as well. And I know Gar wants very much to notch a victory here on Belle Isle. Very prestigious race to win. Trans Am's history here goes back into the late 80s. The series returning here last season to mark the 50th anniversary of Trans Am racing. There's that 44, the engineered components Chevrolet of Adam Andretti sitting in fourth behind two-time series champ Cameron Lawrence. Oh, trouble for Dylan McIvern, one of this year's championship contenders. Nose damage to that car, but it looks like something may be broken in the suspension there.
Yeah, you can see the rear end, the suspension, something's broke. It's not wanting to go straight down the straightaway. Those wheels are pointing the wrong direction.
So Dylan McIvern, a championship contender in TA2. His hopes take a serious blow here at Detroit. We'll check in on him in a moment. Up front, still Buffamante, Robinson, Lawrence, and Adam Andretti. They've moved away from the field. Wow, the 24 just won't track straight at all. He heads down pit road. Take a look at the 24 car here, heading to the right-hander. Looks like something broke there.
Yeah, we can see damage on the nose of that car, but it looks like right there something's already broke. Here's a replay. Maybe this will give us a better indication.
Into the corner here behind Shane Lewis. Tags Lewis, hits him again into the corner, now pulls out the pass on the inside.
Slight contact on the front bumper. I really don't think that's what caused it.
Here's Ashley.
Your current point leader, Dylan McIvern, is on pit lane. Mike Cope Racing Enterprises crew is hard at work. It looks like the rear end has had a brake or mechanical failure. They are going to try to get this back out here so Dylan can collect some much needed points here on the streets of Belle Isle in Detroit.
Tough break for the championship leader, Michael McDowell. These teams, this is sprint racing, 100 miles. They're not really set up for a quick pit stop. And even in this case, in your NASCAR Cup Series machine, you'd have to go to the garage area to try to fix something like this.
Absolutely. This is not a quick fix. It looks like maybe a track bar mount, something like that. You got to remember, Belle Isle, concrete, rough, bouncing. So it might be something in the rear end there that just gave away.
Michael, you mentioned the phenomena of wheel hop, and at a place like this, it could easily come into play.
Definitely. It's where you get in the brake zone. Obviously, a lot of chatter. It's rough. Those back tires start to bounce, and once they bounce, it can break a gear.
Here's your fifth place car, Lawrence Loshak, the Loshak Stark Pennzoil Chevrolet, the ETE Reman machine.
That is such a great looking race car. You see the Pennzoil traditional colors there, the gold, the silver, just a great looking TA2 car.
Lawrence Loshak very competitive, and the veteran Shane Lewis. Let's get on board the 72 car. Shane starting back a ways. He's lost contact here with Loshak. Shane Lewis, a guy who bagged a couple of victories a year ago. He's the teammate to Gar Robinson, getting outrun by his younger teammate.
Gar's had a lot of speed, and a lot of that has come from Shane Lewis's training. And that's the worst. You're showing a guy how to do it, and then he beats you. And that never can be good.
Rafa Matos in a one-off driving the 87 car for Doug Peterson's three-dimensional services group, sitting 7th right now. I think as Rafa Matos gets more comfortable in this car, remember we had a couple of short sessions to get to race day. I think he could be a contender here.
Yeah, absolutely. Rafa didn't get to qualify where he wanted, started deep in the field, but he's already made up a few spots. He's working his way to the front.
Ashley caught up with the team owner Doug Peterson before the start here at Belle Isle.
Doug Peterson, usually a competitor. You've put Matos in the car this weekend. Tell us about that decision.
Well, it was a pretty easy decision. You know, there's a lot of walls. We've had a couple little issues with the car. And so, you know, I was telling the team, let's get a professional. And Rafa is someone that I've sponsored and helped in the past. And so he's very happy to come and drive this thing.
Rafa Matos doing a terrific job. Doug Peterson, no slouch. Two-time Trans Am champion in recent years. He knows how to get the job done as well.
Yeah, when Doug Peterson said he wanted to bring in the professional, Doug Peterson is a professional, but a great man, giving a guy an opportunity. And like he said, he's helped Rafa out in his career. Doug Peterson helped me out early in my career as well. He's done a lot for a lot of American young drivers, and he continues to do so today.
Speaking of young American drivers on the move, there's Sheldon Creed, 15th to 9th. He's behind his teammate in the Stevens Miller Racing Dodge Challenger here. Sheldon Creed started his career in off-road racing. He's a standout in Robbie Gordon Stadium Super Trucks. He's run ARCA this year. He's making a move into NASCAR as well. He's doing a terrific job. He'll run 3 races right now in TA2, and he is flying in this car.
He is doing a great job, and this is a perfect course for somebody that has some dirt track experience. Off-road, it's bumpy, it's rough. You're sliding in between concrete barriers, both sides of you, and he's doing a great job.
Behind him, Kyle Marcelli. Marcelli, another young gun, lots of experience in IMSA in that 96 car. Ran here a year ago in Trans Am, did a terrific job. His car backed this weekend by the American Autoimmune-Related Diseases Association, a charity that Kyle is very passionate about. 50 million Americans suffer an autoimmune disease-related issue in the course of their lifetime. The website aarda.org celebrating their 25th anniversary of carrying the fight against autoimmune disease in this country. 10th spot for Marcelli in the 96 car, trying to reel in Sheldon Creed and get involved in that battle for 8th and 9th.
We have such great talent in this field. You know, you see veterans, you see young guys coming up. This is a great TA2 field.
Trouble for one of the Class Auto Chevrolets. That's Ray Naveau, the team owner, offline in the 29 car. Looks like he's got a problem. His teammate, the lead driver, Cameron Lawrence, the two-time champion, moving by on the outside. Top two starting to pull away a little bit here. And Buffomani, as we get into the second 10 laps of this one, Michael McDowell, he's opened up 4 or 5 car lengths now on Gar Robinson.
Exactly. His lead's not huge, but he is stretching it out.
Adam Andretti sits fourth in front of Lawrence Loshak. We'll be back in Detroit. Back in Belle Isle, Detroit, I'm Rick Benjamin, Michael McDowell alongside. Fight for the lead in TA2. Gar Robinson in the Chevrolet. The 74 Ranch Resort machine all over the back end of defending champ Tony Buffomani. The Best Line Oil Products 34. Ford and Chevrolet toe-to-toe in Detroit. What could be more fitting?
No, this is great. We must have spoke too soon.
Oh!
Gar Robinson hanging it out, putting the power down. That just shows how close to the limit they are. A little too much gas, a little bit too much wheel. The back steps out. Great car control. Fierce battle happening right here.
Take another look at what happened as they come through the right-hander. Now that curbing will upset it a little.
Gar got on the curb just a little bit. It's all it takes.
And if you hang a right front or a left front over the lip of that curb, that's what'll pull the car around, won't it?
Oh, you got to be careful. Like we talked about, concrete barriers, both sides. You overcorrect and you can be in a bad spot.
Leaders lapping by Matt Parent on the 14, teammate to Buffomani. Now, is Buffomani really holding up Gar Robinson here?
No, I don't believe so. I think they're both pushing really hard. Tony Buffomani had a little bit of a lead before we went to that break. Obviously, Gar figured something out and he's closed the gap.
Gar Robinson trying to find a way to get past the 34 car. Still early in the going here at Belle Isle in this 100-mile and timed event today. Part of the Grand Prix of Detroit weekend. Watch the action here. Buffomani trying to make that Ford plenty wide. Gar tucked in right behind him.
Gar did a great job getting the power down, got in his slipstream, slipped out wide. He's on the outside, not the preferred line. Let's see if he can hold it off.
And Robinson takes over, makes the outside move to get around Buffomani and grab the lead.
That was 100% commitment. If you pass somebody on the outside going into the break zone, you got to be committed.
Gar Robinson's commitment paying off with the lead, and he's starting to stretch the lead already. Downstairs to Ashley.
Rick, I'm down here at the 24 Mustang car, Dylan McIvern. He just stepped out of the car. Dylan, what happened out there?
Something in the rear end broke. I'm not sure what. I saw a bent shock, which never means anything good. 24 car had a lot of pace today. I was working my way through the field after having an issue in qualifying, but it's really hard to pass here on this street course. I definitely had the pace to be with the leaders, but I was just trying to work through the slower traffic ahead of me. It's unfortunate for the Mike Cope crew who worked so hard this weekend getting us out here. Just on the Indy, I guess. It's unfortunate to lose the points lead, but what are you gonna do?
Disappointing day here for current point leader Dylan McIvern. That will change leaving Detroit.
Long season, though. This is just the 4th event of a 12-race season. Rafa Matos trying to move around Lawrence Loshak. How about the 87 on the move?
87 putting the pressure on him, but we also see Shane Lewis has got around Loshak for 5th.
Lewis in the 72, the team car to leader Gar Robinson, doing a terrific job, finding some speed here, starting to pull away from Loshak, who's starting to struggle just a little in that 5. Now, that's another car out of the Mike Cope stables, a Chevrolet, though. Mike, kind of apolitical. He's got some Mustangs in his arsenal, a couple of Chevrolets as well. That's one of them right there.
Now, it looks like Matos has got the draft right here. Let's see if he can pull out and make that pass. We saw Gar Robinson do it just a few laps ago.
You can see the preferred line on the outside there. Here comes Matos to the inside into the right-hander, and he makes the move on Loshak.
A little bit of contact, but great side-by-side racing there.
So Lewis to 5th, Matos to 6th. That shuffles Loshak in the ETE Reman car back to 7th. Running order top of your screen, presented by our friends at GoShare. With 47 minutes left of clock time in this 100-mile event. Time or distance, wherever we get there first. Whether we reach 100 miles on the racetrack or the time limit, that's how the checkered flag is determined in Trans Am racing. Watching the battle for position here between Lewis, Matos, and Loshak. Running order 5th, 6th, and 7th at the top of your screen.
And Matos has made short work of catching up to Shane Lewis. Just a few.
Oh, trouble for Adam Andretti. The ECC Chevrolet, the 44, a hard hit on the left side. Adam Andretti able to keep that car running, but he will not be able to continue in this event. Hopefully he can get that car back to pit road. That will probably result in a full course caution. There is debris, part of the soft wall there damaged as well. Adam offline as he continues to struggle here in Belle Isle.
Oh man, that's a big hit, heavy contact. See a lot of damage on that left front suspension there. Probably best just to stop it right there.
So Andretti gets the car off course, but the double yellow flags being shown the field. Gar Robinson will slow things down in the 74 car. So that'll bunch us up for a restart here, but that was a hard hit.
And it's right at the brake zone there. Not sure if he locked up or had a problem there, but obviously heavy contact into that concrete barrier.
Without seeing what happened, Michael McDowell, it's hard to know. We talked about the wheel hop phenomena. That'll put you offline in a place like this, won't it?
Well, absolutely. You can see the concrete right there. It's very easy to lose your traction in that brake zone, lock up the tire, hard to get it back.
ACC crew over the wall to talk to Adam Andretti, make sure he's okay, and take a look at the left front quarter of that car. Heavy damage to lots of suspension bits. Adam unbuckling, climbing out of the race car. Pretty frustrated, you can tell, and he knows he is done for the day. So under caution here at Belle Isle, still early in the going. TA2, the three-dimensional services muscle car challenge on the streets of Belle Isle. You're watching Trans Am presented by Pirelli on the CBS Sports Network. We'll be right back.
Trans Am on CBS Sports Network is sponsored by Speedcom Communications. For 20 years, the world leader in motorsports radio and communications systems.
Back at Belle Isle, cleanup continuing from the Adam Andretti incident. Fans enjoying the show. Sun popping out here at Belle Isle. Michael McDowell, one of the biggest changes in TA2, the arrival of Pirelli radials after years on a bias ply tire.
We love the racing in TA2. We see the car sliding around, and I was a little apprehensive going from the bias ply to the radial, but Pirelli's done a great job. We saw Gar Robinson sliding the car off the corner. It's turned out to be a great switch for the series.
That's what you want for the quality of competition. Ashley Van Dyke now with more.
I'm here with Orazio Mastracchio, Director of Pirelli Tire North America Motorsport Program, and we're going to talk about the TA2 tire that's debuted this year and learn about the story behind developing the tire.
Well, developing this tire was simple and complicated at the same time. Simple because that's what we do, is we build tires. Complicated is we had to reproduce a bias ply performance with a radial construction. So it was somewhat complicated. So we introduced new technology in the tire to be able to have the same performance, actually a better performance than a bias ply tire.
And the feedback from the drivers and teams so far this year?
Teams love the tires. Drivers adore our tires. I mean, we can go back to the race at Homestead, how close the racing was there. I think this was never seen before in Trans Am, especially in TA2.
And the competition level has continued to improve. Great to have Pirelli as the presenting sponsor of the Trans Am Championship. Ready for a restart. Buffamani and Robinson. Cameron Lawrence right there. Shane Lewis. Jailbreak down into one.
And Buffamani was aggressive again, but Gar was having nothing of it, holding on to that lead.
Rafa Matos on the charge meantime in the 87 car. He's moved up to 5th off the restart.
And we see side by side heading into the brake zone. Cameron Lawrence trying to get around Tony Buffamani.
Sheldon Creed back there in the Dodge Challenger on the outside of Loshak. Bidding for a spot into the right-hander. He's got it done.
Side by side is hard to do here, Bella.
Oh! Trouble for one of the competitors. The 97 of Tom Sheehan brushes the soft wall, just ran out of racetrack there.
And luckily he got into those softer tires there, not much damage. He'll be able to continue on.
Take another look at what happened. Creed on the outside making the pass on Loshak's car, and there's the 97 car. Just didn't have enough room to keep it on the road.
Just ran out of road.
But Sheehan looks like he's okay. He'll rejoin at the back of the field. Up front, meantime, Gar Robinson continuing to lead. One of the best chances to make a move, Michael McDowell, on a start or a restart. Buffamani couldn't get it done.
When you're a driver, that's what you're looking at, that opportunity. Everybody's nose to tail. It is the key opportunity to make some passes, but it's also the opportunity for you to make a mistake. You got to watch your back.
Halfway home here for TA2 in Belle Isle. On board with Matos, the three-dimensional services group Chevrolet, trying to size up Shane Lewis up ahead as they fight for 4th.
And he's got to make quick work of Shane Lewis if he wants to contend for a podium spot or perhaps a win. Because what's going to happen is it'll get spread out. Slowly but slowly it'll happen. So now's the opportunity. Get around Shane Lewis. Cameron Lawrence is in his sights.
Lawrence sitting third in the red Class Auto machine, one of the Chevrolets in the field. There's the 72 of Lewis in fourth, Matos in fifth. Talent level in TA2 is amazing. Gar Robinson, a young gun, second-generation driver, leading Tony Buffalmatti, also a second-generation driver. Lawrence, a guy that nobody knew a few years ago. He arrived on the scene in TA2, knocked off a couple of championships quickly, back in the series full-time now and doing a terrific job for that startup team, Class Auto, that came on board a year ago. On board the 74 Ranch Resort Chevrolet of Robinson, nothing better than clear racetrack through that windshield.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's what you got to do. You got to look through that front windshield and not look in your rearview mirror, because Tony Buffalmatti's breathing down his neck. But it's very challenging to do. You got to keep your concentration level up high. You got to hit your marks. As soon as you start looking behind you, that's when you make mistakes.
Rafa Matos in the 87 meantime as we get on board with Shane Lewis holding on to fourth. Matos knows he's got a shot here. You can see him popping out trying to look for a line to get around Lewis.
Obviously, we haven't seen him in the TA2 series before, so this is new to him, but racing is not. He's won a lot of races. He's a professional driver. Like Doug Peterson said, he's a hired gun. He's shown it today.
Rafa Matos, now a team owner in the F4 United States Championship powered by Honda. Doing a lot of driver coaching these days, but he's still a young guy. And you know he very much loves the opportunity to get into the seat of one of these TA2 cars.
Drivers love to drive. That's what we do. So if you get a phone call and you're sitting around on your couch watching racing and you get the opportunity to go racing, you take it.
Loshak in the Pennzoil 5 car behind Sheldon Creed. Creed's done an outstanding job coming from 15th to run in the top 6. Let's get an update from pit road. Here's Ashley Van Dyke.
Rick, I'm down here with Joe Stevens, team owner, watching Sheldon Creed move up through the field, currently sitting in 6th. What's Sheldon saying?
Sheldon on the radio right now is really calm, as he always is. He's just trying to hit the marks and push forward. He got past Loshak pretty easily, and now he's focusing forward towards Matos. He's got good pace right now. The Dodge Challenger, fielded with Stevens Miller Racing and Speed Logics, is moving to the front.
Sheldon Creed, a youngster out of Alpine, California, driving one of these big, heavy Trans Am 2 cars on a street course. That takes quite a deft touch on the wheel.
A lot of finesse. You know, this is a challenging course, concrete both sides, sliding these cars around, but he's doing a great job.
Second start of the year in TA2. He'll run one more race as current plans call for this team. Sheldon, a two-time champion in these wild stadium super trucks, comes from an off-road racing background, really has intentions of moving up. Here he is in an ARCA Series car at Pocono, ran as well at Michigan. Talented young driver.
And showing a lot of versatility. Obviously, he'll drive anything, whether he's jumping in the sky or he's here at Belle Isle on the street course or an ARCA. He's doing a great job getting a lot of experience, and as a young guy, that's what you need.
Speaking of versatility, open wheel champion Rafa Matos making a move on Shane Lewis, piloting the 87 car here. Take a look now, up to 4th position with that pass.
And Buffalmatti's done a great job all day. We saw him lead early in this race, but he's kept the pressure on Gar Robinson. He's not letting him out of his sights, and Gar's driving like a veteran. We see him not making any mistakes. He's got his head down. He's focused out that front windshield. He's going to be hard to beat today.
Cameron Lawrence third there in the red 19 car, the Class Auto entry. Matos now 4th, Lewis is 5th. Lawrence, a young driver with great, trouble for the other Speed Logics Dodge. Jordan Bernlower out of Minnesota has hit the wall a ton. That'll bring out a full course yellow. Again, heavy left front corner damage, much like the Adam Andretti wreck. Take a look at what happens here.
And this is what we talked about early in the race when we saw Gar Robinson get sideways. You overcorrect just a little bit, and it turns right back into that concrete barrier. Heavy damage. Unfortunately, that's probably going to end his day.
Yeah, that one won't be fixable today for sure, and that does bring out a full course caution. That'll bunch him up again for another restart, and that's part of the price you pay, Michael McDowell, for running on a street circuit. No runoff area at all.
Yeah, there's no grass, there's no dirt. You have to be right in between those lines, and it's a fine line.
We'll be back in Detroit. Guy Robinson, TA2 champion a couple of seasons ago, race leader here in the Pura Vida Tequila Chevrolet Camaro, also 74 Ranch Resort, the family business down in South Texas. Keith Prochuk drives the 9 car from Mike Cope Racing. It's the HP Tuners Chevrolet as the field sorts out behind the safety car. Joe Stevens, the team owner of Speed Logic, Stevens Miller Racing, taking a look at things, talking to his crew and driver on the radio. Jordan Bernlower out of Minnesota, hard impact in the concrete, that car heavily damaged. Meantime, Creed in the other car, the 12 car, doing a terrific job, running now in the top 6 as we get set for a restart here on the streets of Belle Isle. AEM Infinity provides the spec ignition box system in these cars, part of Trans Am's ongoing effort to keep the playing field level in TA2. Here's Ashley with more.
Keith Prochuk, driver of the HP Tuners Chevrolet Camaro. Last year, EFI was introduced with these TA2 cars, and the AEM Infinity controller has made a huge impact on the platform. Can you tell us about that?
Yes. So the AEM Infinity basically runs the engine. It controls the fuel and the spark of the motor while we're out there racing. And what AEM has done with this Infinity controller, it's a really modern controller that we're all running. It basically keeps the playing field very level. It's got a lot of advanced features you find in modern engine equipment, and it really basically makes it easier for us drivers to get the data from the engine. It makes it easier for the engine builders to get the data from the engine, and the drivers and the crew can basically focus on driving the car and basically setting up the car, and the engine with the Infinity behind it basically runs, and it runs good.
Spec ECU boxes, pretty much a standard thing in racing today, and AEM Infinity does a great job with TA2, how that is set up. Safety car ready to head to pit road. We are set for a restart. Guy Robinson's Chevrolet out front. Tony Buffalmatti in that Ford in second spot. Buffalmatti led early. Robinson getting by. Gar hoping to hang on and pick up the win here in Belle Isle. We are back underway.
Gar Robinson got to the gas hard there, did a good job with his launch. Tony Buffalmatti not able to get alongside of him.
Cameron Lawrence gets tagged and turned, and there's contact in the wall. Heavy impact for the 5 car of Loshak. Kyle Marcelli in it. Shane Lewis heavily damaged as well. We will go back to full course yellow off the restart.
And we talked about this early in the race. This is your opportunity on the restarts to make moves, but it's also a great opportunity to have a mistake, and that's what we saw here.
Rafa Matos did a great job on the restart in the 87 to move to third. He just got by Buffalmatti. Not sure if that will stick or not. We don't see the yellows. There they go. The caution flag's coming out. Looks as though the double caution, the full course yellow, wasn't called perhaps, so we'll see if Matos gets to hang on to second spot here.
You see a lot of cars damages here. Shane Lewis, Cameron Lawrence, Loshak as well. A lot of great cars that were running in the top 10 out of this race.
Just not enough racetrack. Matos was fine. Lawrence got bumped a little bit, got the car upset on the curbing, went around and collected a couple of other competitors. Heavy contact in turns 1 and 2. The 19 of Lawrence back restarting. Loshak back restarting, but it looks as though Shane Lewis's car is dead stick on the racetrack.
And we see heavy damage. Those cars are beat, battered. Not sure they're going to be able to finish this race.
Loshak's car, much like what we saw with Dylan McIvern earlier, looks as though he's got a track bar issue of some sort in the back or in the front of the car. That car kind of crabbing down the racetrack.
Yeah, it's crabbing, and it's unfortunate. This is what happens with restarts. You get cars nose to tail. Looked like Shane Lewis was trying to make a move, kind of was halfway in, halfway out. Slight contact was made, and it all set it off.
Take another look at what happened. There's Robinson. Lawrence got turned going into the corner there. It didn't look like there was much contact. Matos was making a pass as they came into turn 1.
It just shows how narrow that race course is. Doesn't
On board
take
here.
much.
Shane Lewis to the inside of the 19. Oh, there's the contact. Lewis got into him.
And kind of a chain reaction there. It looked like Cameron Lawrence kind of backed out of a pass. Shane was right inside and made a little bit of contact. Just like happens on these restarts.
From Cameron Lawrence's viewpoint, he had Matos on the outside, and that turned the 19 into the inside concrete barrier. Shane Lewis got into the back end of the 19 a little. Here it is from Loshak's viewpoint. Just bumper cars here at Belle Isle.
And you can see from that shot, nowhere to go, just jumping on the brakes, locked it up, and that happens here.
So Shane Lewis's car unable to continue. Safety workers out to clean up. There's some fluid on the course. Lewis out of the car talking to one of the safety workers in the blue uniform there. Tough break for all of those competitors. All those drivers know when the lap's starting to wind down here in the three-dimensional services muscle car challenge at Belle Isle, knowing if you're going to contend for the win or a podium spot, you needed to make a move. Just not enough racetrack.
It's go time, and you only have so many opportunities. Unfortunately, for a lot of competitors, it's going to end their day.
Lawrence in the 19 in that Chevrolet, getting around the pit road. The Class Auto team will try to get him ready for the restart, which we will watch when we come back in Belle Isle. Welcome back to Belle Isle. Trans Am 2 here on CBS Sports Network, the three-dimensional services group muscle car challenge for TA2 machines. Lawrence Loshak's Pennzoil Camaro out of the Mike Cope shops. Heavy nose damage. They put some Bear Bond on that thing to try to get him ready for the restart here. Let's find out more of what happened in that incident. Ashley has caught up with champion Cameron Lawrence.
Cameron Lawrence was running third when you got caught up in an incident on the restart. What happened, Cameron?
We just got spun by someone behind us. I mean, it's close racing, but it's really sad to see it happen that way. I mean, there's some good drivers that are behind us that just should not make mistakes like that. It's pretty sad to be taken out that way on a restart like that, especially when we run third the entire race. Haven't touched anything or anybody, doing our thing. And, you know, just people making bad moves and just bad driving.
Unfortunate results here for Cameron Lawrence in the number 19 Gap Auto Class Camaro.
Loses a chance at a podium finish here today.
Obviously, Cameron Lawrence is upset. We see the restart here. Shane Lewis absolutely got into the back of him, but it's a restart. Everybody's fighting position, chain reaction. It wasn't something where Shane Lewis just blatantly blasted him, but at the same time, I understand why he's frustrated.
The exit of pit road is there. Safety car heads to pit road, ready for a restart. Robinson, Matos in the 87, now second, Buffamante, and Sheldon Creed, your top four as the laps wind down. We're back underway. Same move, Buffamante trying to get alongside Matos. Matos able to stay out of trouble there.
Very aggressive racing. That's exactly what Gar Robinson wanted to see. Those guys battling side by side, try to break out and get a little bit of a lead.
Sheldon Creed, meantime, trying to get to the podium here. He's up alongside Buffamante, and he's got him. Creed trying to draw a beat on Matos for second. Buffamante battles back into the corner to retake third.
And there wasn't an inch in between those bumpers right there. Close, tight racing.
Buffamante, the defending Trans Am 2 Series champion. Creed, rookie driver at age 19 out of California. Second of three planned starts this season. Very much in the mix here at Belle Isle.
And we saw a lot of great cars taken out in that last restart. This might be somebody's only shot at getting at a podium, maybe even a win. You got to go for it. You lay it all on the line. Closing stages of this race, now's the time to do it.
Gar Robinson, meantime, loves what he's seeing in the rearview mirror. You've got to love it if you've got the lead and the guys behind you are fighting for position.
And it just doesn't seem like Gar's fazed by anything. He's kind of got just a cool, demeanor about him, and you can see it in the race car. He doesn't get worked up. He doesn't get flustered. Very calm, cool, and collected.
Want to give a call as well to Keith Prochuk, who talked to us earlier about the AAM Infinity ignition box system in these cars. Started 10th, he's climbed to 5th. Attrition has been a factor, but Keith has done a very nice job in that Mike Cope Racing Chevrolet. Great job for Gar Robinson. Looks like we'll get the white flag. Only 30 seconds left on the race clock here. Should be the white flag this time by. Gar stretching that lead over Rafa Matos.
Matos, this is his first time in that top two. Didn't really have an opportunity to run him down, but let's see. It's the last lap. Put the pressure on. He might make a mistake.
Texas flag on top of that Chevrolet for young Gar Robinson, former series champ, won the title as a rookie 2 seasons ago. Would like to win his second championship in 3 seasons. Done a terrific job here in the early going in 2017. It looks as though he is on his way to what would be a kind of a hometown win for Gar and the team. Gar has a home here in Detroit now. The team is based up here. Son of George Robinson, veteran Trans Am competitor, veteran road racer. George very much a presence with the 74 Ranch Resort team. Matos in second in the Doug Peterson car. Buffamante third in the Best Line Ford. Fourth spot to Sheldon Creed in that Speed Logics Dodge.
It's been a great race all day. We've seen battles throughout the field. Saw some attrition, but at the end of the day, they're racing hard for these spots. Only a few more corners to go.
On the backside of the circuit here, the 2.34-mile Belle Isle race course. For third spot, Buffamante may have his hands full before the checkered flag waves. Robinson all alone in the lead. Buffamante looking in the mirrors there. Sheldon Creed about a car length behind him. But Robinson, no one has anything for the 74 car.
And you can see he's not giving up though either. He's still sliding that car around. He's not in cruise control mode. He's pushing hard.
Couple of corners left for Gar Robinson here at Belle Isle.
He really hasn't put a wheel long all day. We saw him get sideways off the corner one time. Other than that, he's been smooth sailing to the checkered flag. Another victory for Gar Robinson.
Gar Robinson is your winner of the three-dimensional Services Group Muscle Car Challenge here in the streets of Belle Isle. Rafa Matos in team owner Doug Peterson's Chevrolet runs second ahead of Buffalmatti. Third spot goes to Buffalmatti in front of Sheldon Creed in the 12 car. Tom Sheehan sees the checkered flag as well. And the 9 of Keith Prochuk with a top 5 finish. But Gar Robinson is your winner today here in the streets of Belle Isle. A great run for the young driver in just his 3rd year of professional racing. Gar will try a few donuts here at Belle Isle.
That's a tough place to do donuts.
Yeah.
I mean, he's very brave to try this. You can get the donut wrong and hit something as well, but Gar's having fun, celebrating. It's a team victory. He'll head back to the pits with his guys. There's so much emotion. It's good to see him have a good time with it.
I know this weekend means a lot to Gar. The fans have enjoyed the show here at Belle Isle. We'll come back and talk to the winner next.
Trans Am on CBS Sports Network is sponsored by Three Dimensional Services Group. Prototype, production, proven. By GoShare, your friend with a truck. And by Pirelli, power is nothing without control.
Back in Detroit, Belle Isle in the midst of the Detroit River, home to Trans Am this weekend. The three-dimensional Services Muscle Car Challenge goes to Gar Robinson.
Gar Robinson, winner of the three-dimensional Muscle Car Challenge. You started on the pole. You had your hands full today. How did you end up on top?
We just had the best car at the end of the race that I've ever had. My crew put on so much work all week, all last week, the entire season. It's just, it's all them. It's, I just drive it.
Detroit-based team will be celebrating tonight here.
Absolutely. It's the first time our team's ever won the Grand Prix, so it's definitely something important for us, and I'm happy to do it for my guys. We're a real big family. We were almost 30 years old, or the team's almost 30 years old, so I'm happy that I was able to do it for them. So. Yeah.
They had this venue in their sights coming into the weekend, and they have succeeded in winning the three-dimensional Muscle Car Challenge.
Woo! Gar's dad, George, a longtime Trans Am competitor, never able to get to victory lane at Belle Isle. His son does it for the race team.
And you can see how emotional a victory was for him. He said all he does is drive. Drive he did today.
Rafa Matos comes home second in the 87 car. Defending champ Tony Buffalmatti third. Lawrence Loshak has to settle for ninth ahead of Cameron Lawrence and Kyle Marcelli. A lot of disappointed guys, but one happy driver finished second. Rafa Matos is with Ashley.
Rafa Matos in the three-dimensional Services Camaro. Second place finish today. Tell us about your drive.
It was a great day for us. I think after the mishap in qualifying yesterday, it was very difficult to gain positions. The track was super tricky after the rain this morning. We made it. We finished second. I tried to get a jump on the last restart, didn't time it right, and almost got passed by the other cars behind me, but was able to hold the second position, and here we are.
Exciting race, and Matos delivers for three-dimensional Services with a podium finish here in Detroit.
So Rafa Matos does a terrific job in a one-off drive in that 87 car. Hope we get to see him again. Here's how the championship stands now after 4 races. Robinson ahead of McIvern by 21. Big swing today.
Absolutely huge swing. We saw McIvern leading the points. Now he's not.
Tony Buffalmatti, driver of the number 34 Best Line Superior Lubricants Ford Mustang, brings home a podium finish today. Tell us about your drive, Tony.
Yeah, it's good to get a podium here in Detroit for sure. It's tough competition out there. We knew we had our work cut out for us. We tried to make something happen at the start. Got pretty aggressive. Was able to take the lead, but obviously just couldn't hold on to it. So a little disappointed in that. Not sure what happened there at the end. There was a big crash on one of the restarts. I think the thing went full course caution, and then we got passed for third. So we'll take the points. We'll move on to the next one. And congrats to everybody on a great weekend in Detroit. Thanks to Mike Cope Racing, Ilmore, Will Wood, and all the guys back at the shop. They gave me a good car. We'll get them next time.
A lot of action out there today on track, but Tony Buffalmatti brings home that podium finish.
And you can see the disappointment on his face. He did a great job, aggressive, just wasn't able to hold the lead at the end there, but a good solid run from Tony Buffoni.
Fans certainly got their money's worth today in the three-dimensional services group Muscle Car Challenge for TA2. A lot of contact on this very tight street circuit, incredibly competitive racing. We congratulate our winner today, Guy Robinson. Next up for us, we'll talk to you from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway in a couple of weeks for Trans Am, for TA3 and 4, and for TA2 as well. For Michael McDowell and Ashley Van Dyke, I'm Rick Benjamin. Thanks for watching our coverage from the streets of Belle Isle. You've been enjoying Trans Am presented by Pirelli on the CBS Sports Network.